मोअज़्ज़िज़ हाज़रीन, इस यूनिवर्सिटी का जो अटूट रिश्ता इसके इब्नाए क़दीम से है, उसे देखने सुनने वाले ताज्जुब करते हैं, रश्क व हसद रखने वाले सब्र करते हैं और मसरत रखने वाले फ़ख्र करते हैं। हमारे साबिक़ तलबा व तालबात दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में हों, साबिक़ तालिब इल्म शकील बदायूनी का ये शेर उन पर सादिक़ आता है कि दूर हूँ लेकिन बता सकता हूँ उनकी बज़्म में क्या हुआ, क्या हो रहा है और क्या होने को है। AMU Alumni Affairs Committee is the nerve center for this connect. We engage over several interfaces like digital communication, outreach activities, and community initiatives. All this has been made possible under the committed leadership of our Chairman, Alumni Affairs Committee, the vibrant, versatile, and astute Professor Mirza Muhammad Sufyan Beg. A computer engineer, academic and researcher, he is also the principal of ZHCET, and I request him for his welcome address.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Because I'm sure the alumni, they are connecting from all over the world. Chief Guest Professor Dp Agarwal Sahab, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Tariq Mansoor Sahab, our guests of honor Dr. Kohukan Shamsi, who is online from New York, Dr. Rafat Hussain Sahab, who flew from all the way from USA to join us today in person here, Mr. Manoj Yadav Sahab, IPS, Dr. Jahazib Akhtar, Mr. Mansoor Ahmed, Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui, Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Muhammad Gulrez, our Registrar Muhammad Imran Sahab, IPS, Vice Chairman of the Alumni Affairs Committee, and let me say my partner in crime, Professor Muhammad Mubin Sahab, the alumni who are off the dais, and the alumni who are connected from all over the world. Thank you very much for joining us this sunny morning at the Aligarh Muslim University. I am overwhelmed in welcoming you because you've shown the love for us. You have flown from all the different parts of the world to join us in person after the gap of 2 years. Dr. Faiza Abbasi rightly pointed out that we could connect with you only online for the last 2 annual alumni meets. In fact, 2020 was the year in which we wanted to celebrate our centenary year for our university with all the pomp and show and glory, but unfortunately the pandemic pegged us back and we couldn't meet in person. So we did organize the alumni meet online in the year 2021 twice, once for 2020 where we released the World Alumni Directory, and then again for 2021 around the same time, the Sir Sayyid Day. So it is my pleasant duty to welcome the alumni from all over the world, including United States, Canada, Kuwait, UAE, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Thailand, and different parts of India. It is their love for the alma mater that has brought them here. Thanks for all the support extended during the pandemic for the oxygen plant and medical equipment, the online learning aids that our alumni, they provided in abundance, and we could extend it to our students, and their online learning became meaningful by virtue of the support that our alumni had extended. We also thank Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui, who is our guest of honor today, for providing the dental CT scan, which is called CBCT for our dental college. Dear alumni, as I said, the pandemic has pegged us back. Many parents lost their job. Many children, they even lost their parents. This is the time when they need your support the most. I get so many cases in which the students are approaching me that we are not able to submit the meager amount of fees that the AMU still charges today. And it is only because of the support of the alumni that we have been able to extend these scholarships to many of those students. So please continue doing the good work and try to keep up the same spirit and try to keep the flag of AMU flying high by extending support to all those who need us in this hour. And that is the reason why we have kept the very theme of this alumni meet, the post-pandemic scenario in education and employment, opportunities and challenges. Not only it has pegged us back, but also many new opportunities have arisen. We have been able to learn how to put things in the hybrid mode and how to teach our students in the mixed mode, in the hybrid mode. That is becoming the norm these days. We also have to look for ways and means to overcome the weaknesses that may have cropped in our students who graduated during this pandemic period, particularly in the engineering college where we could not give them hands-on. We had to run the lab sessions in the video mode. So we have to look for ways and means to train our students. And that is where we want skill enhancement courses for them. An idea that has been coined and has been duly approved by the Honorable Vice Chancellor is to raise a corpus for funding our students for the online skill enhancement courses like SWAM. That is a meager amount, 1,000 rupees for one course. But if a student wants to do many courses, or there are many students who are not even able to afford that much, if you can raise a corpus, invite the applications, tell them to do those skill enhancement courses, appear for the exam, and take the certificate so that their employability goes up. I know all the alumni, they are coming after a long time, so we have kept an open hour session immediately after the inaugural session and tea break. So you please find a form in your bag in which you can fill in your details if you want to speak at the open hour session, and drop that form at the registration desk. We are short of time, so please try to compress whatever you have to say in 2-3 minutes, a little maybe more, but please try to be brief. The Musa Dakri Museum, which is right here in the CEC, I have made a special request to keep it open. So when you find time, please do have a look. That's a beautiful museum that has come up in the last few years. Last but not the least, my sincere apologies for any shortcomings whatsoever that may have crept in despite our efforts. Welcome again and have a good time. Thank you very much.
बहुत शुक्रिया सुफियान साहब। सदर AAC के इन इस्तकबालिया कलिमात के बाद अब वक्त है कि मुअज़्ज़िज़ अराकीन मजलिस सदारत की हम गुलपोशी करें। I will first request Dr. Salma Shaheen, member of the Alumni Affairs Committee, to kindly present a bouquet of flowers to our chief guest, Professor Dp Agarwal Sahab. Our guest of honor is Dr. Rafat Hussain, and I will request Professor Aisha Farooq, also member Alumni Affairs Committee, Department of Business Administration, to kindly present a bouquet to Dr. Rafat Hussain. Professor Saira Mehnaz from the Department of Community Medicine, member AAC, to present a bouquet to Mr. Manoj Yadav, our guest of honor. Professor Tamkeen Khan, member of the Alumni Affairs Committee and professor at the Department of OBGY, JN Medical College, to please present a bouquet to Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui. We have with us Dr. Jahanzeb Akhtar as a guest of honor, and I request Dr. Salma Shaheen once again to please present a bouquet to Dr. Jahanzeb Akhtar. Dr. Salma Shaheen, principal of the Women's Polytechnic at AMU. Professor Samina Khan, I'm really sorry for this. Professor Samina Khan to please present a bouquet to Mr. Mansoor Ahmad. This was to be done immediately after Dr. Rafat Hussain, but I'm sorry for this. Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest of honor today is Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui, who is a successful dentist, business leader, and institution builder, and he has done it all at a very young age. With diverse interests, this young entrepreneur became the founder, CEO, and MD of Crossroads Group of Dental Clinics, Dubai, executive director of Al Sabreen Restaurants, and owner and director of Crossroads Basketball Team. Also, he edits the periodical named Advances in Human Biology, indexed by Copernicus International. He is one of the first dentists to receive the UAE Golden Residency, and Dubai newspapers often cover him for his exceptional merit. He accomplishes all this with an MDS degree from the Pavlov University in Russia, a BDS degree from Karnataka, and proudly so, his foundational schooling is from our very own STS High School, the Minto Circle, which he joined in 1991. Looking at his journey, I wish to dedicate to him this couplet from our very own Urdu professor, Sheheryar, La khurshid sare baam agar hain to rahein, hum koi mom nahi hain ki pighal jayenge. I request Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui for his address.
Respected Vice Chancellor Sahab, the Chief Guest, the Guest of Honor, and all the dignitaries, teachers, and my dear student, Assalamu Alaikum. Thank you very much, Dr. Faiza, for the generous introduction. But let me share with all that I have not have any achievements done yet. What the dignitaries right here, the renowned personalities sitting here, indeed, I am in my 40s, and there's plenty of things to be done. My achievements are not my possessions, businesses, or the fame back home in Dubai. The biggest achievement of my life is this dais today, where I'm standing and speaking in front of you all. Today, I want to tell my story from right that chair, that seat where I sat first time in 1991, today to this dais where I reached today here. I came in Aligarh in 1991 for my schooling in Minto Circle, and like everybody's dream to become something, to become a doctor or engineer, I wish to become a doctor. But what happened when I finished my senior high school, I tried to give my exams for the PMT. That time only 100 seats was there, but I failed. I couldn't get to the JNMC, Jawaharlal Medical College. But I gave my gap year, and again I tried, and again I failed. But that did not let me stop there. My determination to do medical school, go to the medical school or reach dental college, it was like so strong that I never let myself get down. And that determination led me to the dental college in Mangalore, where I pursued my dental bachelor's degree. I kept in faith in Allah and believed in myself, and my determination to become a doctor landed me in dental college in Mangalore. I was just an average student, but I was consistent, and finally I passed my medical exam and got my degree. I remember immediately when I went to Delhi for my first interview for the job interview, I was offered a 3,000 dirham salary, which was a shock to me. And that made me realize that I should not leave my schooling, my education in between, and that helped me to go back to the institute, and I started preparing for my MDS, my specialization. Though I was a very average student, it was not so easy for me to get into the medical specialization. So I took a bank loan from the bank and reached Russia and did my master's in orthodontics in IP Pavlov State Medical University. When I finished from there, I moved to Dubai. That gave me another experience that I had never before, but then my willingness to accept the change kept me afloat, and I joined a job. I worked there for 2 years of time. I made sure I don't become a part of a big machinery or a organization where I don't have an option of doing things the way I want. I preferred this as this allowed me to be independent and gave me a free mind to learn and to decide. Finally, I quit my job on my own to develop my own practice. That was the biggest risk of my life, but that risk which I have taken had made me the person today what I am today. That helped me to grow from one clinic to another clinic and multiple clinics, and that my experience of different cultures back in Aligarh, from Aligarh to Delhi, to Mangalore, to Russia, to a brief time in Kuwait and Dubai, has helped me to grow into the different businesses. I'm extremely passionate about whatever I do. Due to the variety of experience, risk appetite, consistency, and accepting change helped me to diversify my portfolio of business, venturing into IT services, constructions, trading, restaurants, and in sports also. My wife once said in the context of love that if a moon is not increasing, it's decreasing. And those words were always kept very close to my heart, and I use these words everywhere, also in my growth and progress also. The appetite should always be there in you to move forward. Every single day when I get up, I have an appetite for doing more. During this entire journey, critics laughed at me, made fun of me, but I did not let my tears to cover my eyes from my goals. So my dear students, I want to say, never let the critics decide, let you go down to go, learn to grow more and strong, improve every day. I believe no matter whether we work for someone or we start a business, what is more important now than ever is to have an entrepreneurial mindset in order to succeed as well as to achieve big. This mindset forces everyone to learn things every day, minutely observe the things that happens around us, and to make us ready for the calculated risk which we take into the finally we make big steps which we make. My story can be simply summarized in a few words, that is the determination, the consistency, the courage to accept the change, the risk, the passion, and the appetite to achieve more. Thank you very much for listening to me and considering my words. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the inspiring connect you made with the students here, and once again, we wish you the very best for a very bright career. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest of honor is an illustrious personality. He is AMU alumnus, Mr. Mansoor Ahmed, President, Isuzu Motors International, an agile and result-oriented leader with experience in various leadership roles. Adept at working in mature, emerging, and developing markets across Asia, Middle East, and South Africa, he has working experience with automotive brands like Tata, Mercedes, Volvo, Renault, Mack, and UD Trucks. He has held senior positions in automotive companies in Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, and China, and he began his career with the Tata Motors in India. For Mr. Mansoor Ahmed, a degree in Marketing Management from the Symbiosis Institute, Pune, and his graduation in Mechanical Engineering from our very own Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology is what has made him what he is today. Bashir Badr, साबिक तालिब इल्म, मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी अलीगढ़ के शेर के साथ दावत सुखन मंसूर अहमद साहब को कि जिस दिन से चला हूँ मेरी मंजिल पे नज़र है, आँखों ने कभी मील का पत्थर नहीं देखा. I request Mansoor Sahab for his address.
So thank you so much, Dr. Faiza. I think her eloquence in Urdu totally, completely intimidates me. And that is why I'm not even going to venture to speak in Urdu. For my apologies for that. आपके सामने उर्दू बोलना नामुमकिन है. Absolutely, and unfortunately, I've been out so long that I missed this. I think, thank you for bringing back that inspiration. So Professor Dp Agarwal, I will cheat a little bit. I've taken some notes out here. So VC Tariq Mansoor Sahab, distinguished guests of honor, faculty, alumni, and dear students. It's truly an honor and privilege to be here in a stage which is adorned by, which has been and is adorned by various illustrious luminaries. It brings a rush of emotion. Memories sort of come up in terms of my father, who's also been an alumni of this university and who was also the treasurer of the university. And my sister is also here today, so thank you for that, Lubna, that you have managed to come here also. And then again, to sort of revisit those memories, it was lovely to have that matri today, so matri omelette, and the jalebi. So I just chose exactly those things which I remember I used to do during our college days. And then again, I think, as Shams pointed out, right, it is the same feeling that I had, that not long ago I was sitting around there and thinking and having aspiration and dreams, and then how fast this time has flown. It is incredible. It's an incredible journey, and it is an honor really to be here, to have the opportunity to speak to you. And then I think the topic which is the topic and theme. So that topic, when it was given to me, it set off some thoughts, right, which I'd like to share with you. Now, when it comes to AMU has made an enormous contribution. I think it is absolutely stupendous, the contribution which has been made by AMU in modernization of education. The legal movement, which is more than almost 150 years now, right? In terms of the contribution on social upliftment, staggering levels, right? But I think that now, having basically, traversed that particular wave and being where we are, we need to look at the next horizon. And the post-pandemic scenario, this brings us a huge opportunity. Opportunity in terms of, there's a great technological leveling which has happened. And that leveling provides us all the global resources. The top-notch global resources are available. So facilitating those particular global resources and bringing them to students can take us to the next trajectory. And this would absolutely help in realizing Sir Syed's vision of building a preeminent institution at par with Cambridge and Oxford. So the social upliftment done, but in terms of being at par with Cambridge and Oxford, that is what all of us collectively need to aspire for. It is not easy, looking at where we stand. Our ranking right now is, I believe, somewhere around 800, 850. And now I'm talking about how to be best in the world. Then it's about talking about how to get into the top 100 and how to get into the top 10. So I put some reflections here. And one of the thoughts was that in the corporate, normally what we do is that, okay, guys, you want to do something, there's a vision, then you create a wanted position. And when you create a wanted position, then you need to define metrics. So I thought to myself, what should be the new metrics that we should look at? And these are some thoughts, right, and just proposals, right? I'm sure that there are many people thinking much more deeply than I am, right? But some of the thoughts was that, okay, as a university, how many Nobel laureates have you produced? And why should we not? That was one. Holtz Prize winners, how many? So these are the sort of aspirations that we need to start building upon. Research to be measured in terms of patents filed, so that it is meaningful, much more meaningful than how we are contributing. The number of startups that have emanated out of Aligarh University, the VCs who are here to fund those endeavors, money is not a problem. The VCs are all over. Right now, there's too much money which is chasing too little ideas, honestly. We need to tap into that. Then collaboration with industry. I think that's where I do believe that there's a huge scope of improvement. And what do I mean by that, right? It is, if you collaborate with industry, then the ability to produce what is required, the products which go out of here, they should be ready. They should have the required certifications. So normally what happens is that when I got picked up, for instance, now this is way back, almost 35, 40 years ago, and then you join an institution, and then you go through a huge training program to become useful, right? What is it that we can do where our students basically are ready to go the moment they step out of university? So the other reflection was when I looked at, I think it was the World Economic Forum, they have come up with this, that what are the most important critical skills in demand in 2022? So it talked about cultural sensitivity, resilience, collaboration in hybrid world of work, dealing with uncertainty and ambiguity, and leading global teams. And this set me thinking that the enormous asset that we have, which I think is unique to this university, is it is not about academic excellence only. It is about character building. And this university, I think that's the greatest gift that I've got from this university. Being there in the hostel, being with the fellow students who were there with me, and coming from diverse backgrounds, different economic cross-sections, different religious thoughts, different political thoughts, and that huge amalgamation of ideas basically makes you culturally sensitive. So we are ready. I think that's a great asset that we have. So in terms of cultural sensitivity, resilience, you see it all out here. You see people struggling, so it's very, very live, right? Collaboration, I think that comes in very, 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 very early when you are living in a hostel and interdependence among each other. And I think compassion is one which I'll remember. There were instances when there are some people who would not get their money orders coming in. And this huge thing wherein the student would not even realize that his money has not come in, with his friends and colleagues chipping in. This is absolutely unique, which should be kept and preserved. So from that perspective, from the culture that we have, we are ready, I think, on these skills which are required, the character building part of it, that we need to build on. So, and in terms of how we look at it in industry, this is a clear competitive advantage, right? And then lastly, I'd like to just say, with so much already achieved, a resolve by all of us to aspire for excellence, humility and openness to embrace best practices, collaborate, and with perseverance, there's nothing which can stop us from achieving world leadership. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Mansoor Ahmed Saab. These were very, very perceptive comments indeed, and we need action on them. ख़वातीन व हज़रात, अब से कुछ ही देर में ये शानदार कैनेडी हॉल मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी के उस साबिक़ तालिब इल्म की अमर वानी से गूंजने वाला है जिसका नाम था असरारुल हक़ मजाज़। मजाज़ जहाँ नौजवानों में एक मुजाहिदाना जोश पैदा करना चाहते थे, वहीं ख़वातीन को भी रज़्मगाए हयात में शिरकत की दावत देते हैं। वो कहते हैं वो एक मिज़राब है और छेड़ सकती है रगे जाँ को, वो चिंगारी है लेकिन फूंक सकती है गुलिस्तां को। Representing the alumni of the university today is Mrs. Jahanzeb Akhtar, youngest Chief Commissioner of the Income Tax in the country today. Presently posted in Amritsar, she is an officer of the 1989 batch of the Indian Revenue Services. She comes from Orissa and has studied, apart from AMU, at the Utkal University, JNU, Nalsar, Hyderabad, IIM Bangalore, and Syracuse University in New York State. As a Fulbright Fellow, she was selected by the US government for the prestigious Herbert H. Humphrey Fellowship, which included experiences at the United Nations and the Permanent Mission of India at the UN in New York. She's also associated with the South Center in Geneva for tax reforms work. By her own admission, she's a people's person. And when she was at AMU for her sociology master's in 1987, this illustrious alumna was a resident of the Abdullah Hall. From the girls, it deserves a double round of applause. I now request Dr. Jahanzeb Akhtar for her address.
Adab, Namaskar, Sat Shri Akal. And the place which was my last place of posting, Chennai, Ellargu Vanakkam. Respected members on the dais, of the dais, हमें Professor Sufyan ने, and of course the university style, Assalamualaikum. So, without the Assalamualaikum. Yesterday, Professor Sufyan reached out to me and said, what will you speak on? Let us have 2 to 3 sentences so that we can compile and send to the press in advance. And while I was in the train traveling from Amritsar, I told him I prefer spontaneity. I would rather pick up my topic from what I observe once I reach Kennedy Hall. And I observed, and I have picked up. So in 5 minutes, which is the official time given in the timelines that have been program schedule that has been circulated, in 5 minutes, and I will not take more, I can only do 2 things. I can leave you with a wish list, my khahish for the university, and I can leave you with a commitment, my offer from my side for the university, my alma mater. The Government of India has banned single-use plastic. I find these plenty on the official forum. I also find that we here are not just Government of India subjects. Each one of us is a responsible citizen aware of what plastic does to our environment. And here I have plastic. मैंने इसकी सारी प्यार, affection, warmth that was conveyed through it, I accept with all the love in my heart. But I'm afraid I have to leave this behind because there is no place for it in my home and in my life and in my practice of waste segregation, which I practice rigorously, having perfected it over the past 15 years. तो मेरी ख्वाहिश university के लिए, can the Honorable Vice Chancellor, can the bright young registrar who has now joined, full of beans, young and enthusiastic, can you make this a zero-waste campus? A zero-waste campus is not as easy as shouting sure, sure. It requires deep reflection of how we look at things that we allow to enter our lives. अगर मैंने इस पे पैसे खर्चे and it enters my life, it is me who has the responsibility for finding end-of-life solutions for everything here. The leaf, the plant, the flower, the ribbon, the plastic. Otherwise, I will not let it enter my life. प्यार से मना कर दूंगी. So those 3 things that you see in the popular symbol of, reuse, recycle, reduce, उसमें एक और जोड़ लें, refuse. Buy 1, get 1 free. Illa. No, no, no. Because everything that enters your life must enter with awareness. And if you are spending government funds on doing things like this without having an end-of-life solution, I think it is time we institutionally rethink our priorities. It is not possible to aspire for top ranks, #1 positions, VC funding, etc., without having our awareness grounded in everything that we do. And that awareness is what is really at the heart of ilm. That is what education should be telling us. And that is the core value that we should be taking home from education. I've done 3 minutes already. I have 2 more. So in that 2 more, I will leave you with my commitment. I have spoken to you from practice, not from PPTs downloaded from Google Chacha. There is enough and more. I have been reading. I pass through Jamalpur every time I go to my brother's house. I see the trash that we generate. Can we give it a new name? Can we call it by a respectful name of byproduct of our human existence instead of a word like waste? आप लोग इतना उर्दू जानते हैं, आप लोग इतनी शायरी करते हैं, एक उर्दू की अच्छी सी वर्ड कॉइन करके हमें बोलिएगा, which will indicate this as a byproduct of our everyday existence, so that what has no use for me has a use for someone else. and I send it out of my house or my institution in a form with izzat so that the receiver receives it as raw material. इसको अगर मैं साफ करके प्लास्टिक को भेजूं, neatly wrapped, cleaned, dried, it is raw material for the HDP industry, for the plastic industry. It's only when I send it out mixed into a trash that there are leachates, there are chemical decomposition processes, that it destroys the soil, the air, and I have seen also your dumps. I have read online small researches about the solid waste and the liquid waste management that is practiced. Leaves a lot to be desired. I know that your hall ke jo bhi nikalte hain, kitchen ke outputs, you have farmers and you have people who come in and who kind of tender and purchase them. That's great. You found an second user for it. You could also try other things. You could make biofuel out of it. You have engineering department. I read that your engineering department conducted some faculty development workshops for waste management as recently as last year. I would like that it should not be just an engineering department reserve. I also read that आपने अब्दुल्ला में शायद some waste, value out of waste, कुछ exhibitions करवाए, कुछ competitions करवाए, your girls did, making little things out of waste, and there were some prizes. I will desire that it is not just the girls in some hall in a competitive process, that these values are thought of and imbibed by every one of us, student, faculty, citizen, each and every human being inhabiting this university. Let us be the first central university to declare this, and let us, household segregation of waste, let us introduce. We have a university ki portal mein humne dekha health office ek hai. The health office alone cannot do it. It has to be something which bites us inside. Because, as I keep telling, jab mere ammi abba ka intakal hua, I did not call the municipal dump to take away their bodies. उनका तो काम खत्म हो गया था. They are not giving me blessings anymore. हमने कितने आदर, सत्कार, सम्मान से नमाज पढ़ के जनाजा में लेके, my mom passed away in COVID, so we did not have the janaza. We buried them because we found that that is their final resting place, and then they have a utility beyond that. So just as we treat them with respect, we will treat this with respect, because at the heart of it, go back to your quantum physics, if you know about the base material that is there in the existence, it is energy in motion. What constitutes me constitutes this. I have exceeded my time. I beg your apologies. And I will therefore end with only one, not in Urdu shairi, because everybody does Urdu shairi. I will tell you something which I learned in my Sanskrit class. एक सुभाषितानीज़ हम लोग को रटा रटा के पढ़ाया करते थे class 7-8 में. One of those has lingered on as the symbol of what we need to do differently. It says, Ashwam naiva, gajam naiva, vyaghram naiva cha naiva, ajah putram balim dadhyat, devo durbalo ghataka. Ashwam naiva, not the horse. Gajam naiva, not the elephant. Vyaghram naiva cha naiva, शेर तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं. अजा पुत्रम बलिम दध्यात, किसको हम बलि देते हैं, किसकी हम सैक्रिफाइस करते हैं. अजा पुत्र, the baby of the goat, the kid. Devo durbala ghataka. Even the devos do not protect or side with the weak. So if you are a community, if you are a university community that has not kind of strengthened its core, and the core is cleanliness. Believe me, everything else we may have, if you do not have cleanliness, you will fall flat. And that goes for the post-COVID world also that we are messaging so strongly today. So the strength that comes from cleanliness, from swachhata if you call it, from inner understanding of our needs, so that we reduce our needs. फालतू की चीजें घुसाएंगे ही नहीं अपनी जिंदगी में, अपनी thoughts में, अपने households में. We will keep ourselves lean, mean, and smarter, and that will be the community, you can be assured, inshallah, which will rise to the top ranks as a university, as a society, as a human community. बहुत शुक्रिया. अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
Thank you, Madam, for the sensitization and the vision on campus sustainability. I must reiterate that AMU is very, very deeply committed to its green campus vision and also to the Swachh Bharat campaign. Thank you so much. ख़वातीन व हज़रात, हमारे मेहमान एज़ाज़ी जनाब मनोज यादव भारतीय पुलिस सेवा से हैं और मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी के इब्न क़दीम अज़हर इकबाल का ये शेर भारतीय पुलिस सेवा के अहलकारान के लिए मौजू है कि हर एक नज़र के लिए मुख्तलिफ पयाम हैं हम, कहीं है जहर का प्याला, कहीं जाम है हम. Shri Manoj Yadav is a 1988 batch IPS officer of Haryana cadre, presently serving as Director General Investigation in the National Human Rights Commission, New Delhi. During his service, he has occupied key posts at the Intelligence Bureau, held additional charge of the Secretary of All India Sports Control Board, and was DG Police Haryana for 30 months. His diverse academic interests include comparative religion, Islamic fundamentalism, and India's northeast region, along with a keen eye for modern Indian history, Urdu poetry, and long-distance running. He also authored a widely acclaimed book entitled History of Haryana Police. A President's Medal for Distinguished Services, the United Nations Peacekeeping Medal for his work in Kosovo, and 3 police medals for distinguished services has decorated him so far, and I'm sure he must be still counting. He was born in Deoband, Saharanpur, UP, and from the Aligarh Muslim University, he bagged his first gold medal in MA Economics and another in MBA in 1986. Mr. Manoj Yadav, IPS, for his address, please.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम. हमारे आज की महफ़िल के सदर और मेहमान ख़ुसूसी प्रोफेसर डीपी अग्रवाल साहब, हमारे शेखुल जामिया जनाब प्रोफेसर तारिक मंसूर साहब, मंच पे विराजमान गेस्ट्स ऑफ ऑनर जिन्होंने अलग अलग शोबे में बहुत तरक्की हासिल की है और आज अपना पैगाम यहाँ पे दिया है. मेरे लिए इससे ज़्यादा खुशी का कोई मौका नहीं हो सकता कि मैं अपनी मादर दरसगाह में दरसगाह के बानी जनाब सर सैयद अहमद ख़ान साहब की यौम पैदाइश से एक दिन पहले अपने पुराने साथियों की यादें ताज़ा करूं, अपने पुराने असातिज़ाए इकराम को याद करूं और अलीगढ़ के दर-ए-बाम को नज़रों से बोसे दूं. इस मौके पे अलीगढ़ का जिक्र हो तो सर सैयद अहमद ख़ान साहब से ही गुफ्तगू शुरू होती है. इस अजीम शख्सियत ने आज से लगभग 150 साल पहले अलीगढ़ की सरज़मीन से एक तालीमी तहरीक का आगाज़ किया, जिसने पूरी दुनिया में एक तालीमी और इखलाकी इनकलाब बर्पा कर दिया. उन्होंने 2 किताबें लिखी, जिनका बहुत लिखी थी, पर 2 का मैं ज़िक्र करूँगा. तो एक तो उन्होंने सच्चे देशभक्त होने के वजह से असबाब बगावत हिंद के ज़रिए बहुत ही ज़रूरतमंदी के साथ उन्होंने जो बरतानवी निज़ाम था उसकी कोताहियों को उजागर किया और उसके ज़रिए उन्होंने पूरे मुल्क के जो सियासी मंजरनामा था उसको तब्दील करने का अज़्म किया. साथ ही उन्होंने तहज़ीबुल अखलाक रिसाले के ज़रिए पहली बार साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के मामलात को एक हिंदुस्तानी ज़बान उर्दू में पेश किया. उनके लिए एक खिराज अक़ीदत हम सभी को देना है और मैं उनकी स्मृति में नमन करता हूँ. चंद अल्फाज अलीगढ़ के बारे में. 35 बरस हो गए अलीगढ़ छोड़े हुए, मगर इसकी खुशबू जाती नहीं है. जहाँ जाए वहाँ तेरा फसाना छोड़ देते हैं, कोई महफिल हो तेरा रंग महफिल याद आता है. अलीगढ़ से मेरा रिश्ता वतन अज़ीज़ का भी है और राहत जान का भी है. अलीगढ़ की पुरकैफ पुरकैफ और हसीन फ़िज़ाओं में मैंने अपनी तालीमी ज़िंदगी के 8 खूबसूरत साल गुजारे, जो मेरी ज़िंदगी का एक बहुत बड़ा असासा है, एक बेशकीमती सरमाया है। इस अजीम इदारे ने मुझे जो डिग्री आपने बताई वही तकसीम नहीं करी, बल्कि एक शऊर ज़िंदगी दिया, एक तर्ज़ हयात दिया, जिसकी वजह से पूरी दुनिया में कहीं भी जाएं अलीगढ़ का तालिब इल्म कहीं मात नहीं खाता है। मेरे लिए अलीगढ़ एक नफ्सियात का नाम है, एक कैफियत है और एक सुरूर है। यहाँ से चलने वाली कौमी यकजहती की और सांप्रदायिक सद्भाव की जो ठंडी हवाएं हैं, वो इस ज़माने, तपिश के ज़माने में एक ठंडी हवा की तरह ठंडी हवा के झोंके तकसीम करती हैं। अलीगढ़ ने उर्दू जैसी खूबसूरत और शीरी ज़बान को फ़रोग़ दिया है, जो मोहब्बत के इजहार की भी ज़बान है और दर्द के इलाज की भी ज़बान है। जब मैं यहाँ पढ़ता था तो जनाब जानिसार अख्तर साहब, शहरयार साहब, एनी आपा शोबा उर्दू में हुआ और मुझे उर्दू से मोहब्बत हुई, उर्दू शायरी से मोहब्बत हुई, जो आज तक कायम है। मैंने अलीगढ़ को हमेशा अपने शहरक से ज़्यादा करीब पाया है। यहाँ पे जब गुलाब के फूल से, मैं पर्सनल तजुर्बे से बोल रहा हूँ, जहाँ गुलाब के फूल से मोहब्बत का आगाज़ हो जाता हो और एक गिलास चाय पे कंप्रोमाइज़ होकर दुश्मनी ख़त्म हो जाती हो, उस हसीन सरमाए पे सिर्फ फ़ख्र किया जा सकता है। So this was about the old Aligarh, what Aligarh stands for, the value of Aligarh. But now we must come to the present times. मैं वाइस चांसलर साहब की इजाज़त से अंग्रेज़ी में जो अपना दूसरा हिस्सा है तकरीर का वो करूँगा। I just have a message, because if I leave without a message, my presence, the purpose of my presence here would not be served. I just want to say that we are very fortunate to be living in India at this present juncture, because today the whole world is talking about a forthcoming recession and stagflation. But all the global economic consultancies and rating services are predicting a 6 to 7% growth for us. Our infrastructure sector is booming. Vedanta has just finalized an agreement for manufacturing microchips in India with Foxconn. And presently, during the recently COVID pandemic, we had the Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech, who served the world, who developed a vaccine and served the world. There's a huge digital push has taken place. Open market, the CoWIN portal was itself a miracle, where each time somebody got vaccinated, it was being reflected in real time. We saw, when we saw the 100 crore, it was being updated. And when it was being created, people say it would collapse. Now rest of the world has adopted it. So we are at the cusp where this civilization is about to realize. So there are huge opportunities are being generated. And I wish to talk about those opportunities. And I wish to tell particularly the alumni and even more importantly the faculty members present here that it is our bounden sacred duty to prepare these future generations for benefiting from these opportunities. I was so happy to hear to Professor Sufyan Beg when he mentioned that there are certain gaps remain when we pass out. So these bridge courses to make them employment ready, which are being conceived of, I will request all the students to make use of them. But being from the government sector, I have just one message. When I was studying here, and it has not changed much, उस वक्त लोग या तो सोचते थे कि मैं दिल्ली चला जाऊं, दिल्ली में कोई रोजगार मिल जाएगा, या मैं दुबई, सऊदी अरब या इराक चला जाऊं. I found that there was no focus on aspiring for government jobs. I want to tell you from this forum that the government of India, particularly in the next 2 years, is going to bring lakhs of jobs in the open market. Because employment is right now a major issue before the country. All the ministries have been told to push forward, create an agenda for recruitment. We must prepare our students, because our students come from poor backgrounds. जो बाप मुश्किल से फीस जमा करके बच्चे को मनी ऑर्डर करता है, उसको ये तवक्को ज़रूर होती है कि अपनी तालीम पूरी करने के बाद उसे जॉब मिलेगा। ये यूनिवर्सिटी का काम नहीं है, मगर यूनिवर्सिटी उसके लिए बच्चे को तैयार होने में मदद कर सकती है, एलुमनाई मदद कर सकते हैं। मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि जो पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस हर साल असिस्टेंट कमांडेंट्स का एग्ज़ाम होता है, BSF, CRPF, ITBP का, उसके लिए हम बच्चों को तैयार कर सकते हैं। साल में 2 दफ़ा UPSC के प्रोफेसर अग्रवाल बैठे हैं, कंबाइंड डिफेंस सर्विसेज एग्ज़ाम और NDA एग्ज़ाम होता है। हमारी आर्मी में, एयरफोर्स में ऑफिसर्स की कमी है, हम उसके लिए बच्चों को तैयार कर सकते हैं। गवर्नमेंट सर्विस का मतलब सिर्फ IAS IPS नहीं है, जो बहुत मुश्किल और बहुत अनसर्टेन किस्म का एग्ज़ाम है। तो बहुत सी अपॉर्चुनिटी है। बैंकिंग सर्विस रिक्रूटमेंट बोर्ड, हज़ारों प्रोबेशनरी ऑफिसर्स की ज़रूरत है, हमारी पब्लिक सेक्टर यूनिट्स को। तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि एक वेबसाइट बने जिसपे जो भी जॉब एडवर्टीजमेंट निकले गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का एम्प्लॉयमेंट न्यूज़ में, वो सभी स्टूडेंट्स देख सकें, उसके नोटिस बोर्ड लगे और यहाँ कोचिंग गाइडेंस सेंटर में इसका इंतजाम हो कि वो उनको आके बताएं कि आप कैसे इसकी तैयारी कर सकें। वी हैव टू प्रिपेयर आवर चिल्ड्रन फॉर द फ्यूचर। और मैं चाहता हूँ थोड़ा सा रीओरिएंटेशन हो, ताकि यूनिवर्सिटी अपने बच्चों को देखे, और हम जैसे अभी यहाँ पे चंद लोग हैं, ऐसे हज़ारों सैकड़ों बच्चे आज से 20 साल बाद इस मंच पे बैठे हुए हैं। आखिर में मैं अपने शेखुल जामिया साहब की खिदमत में शुक्रिया के फूल पेश करता हूँ कि उन्होंने इस अजीम प्लेटफॉर्म पे मुझे बुलाकर मेरी इज़्ज़त अफजाई की और इस मादरे दर्सगाह में कुछ देर इसकी मोहब्बत भरी फ़िज़ा में सांसें लेने का मौका दिया। मैं इस वादे के साथ आपसे रुखसत लेता हूँ, तूने जो शम्मा जलाई है वो न बुझने पाए, अब तो ले दे के यही काम हमारा ठहरा। खुदा हाफ़िज़।
कहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि कैसा मुअस्सिर और दिलों को छूने वाला खिताब था ये। तालियों ने सब कुछ कह दिया है, और तालियां भी कोई ऐसी वैसी नहीं, कैनेडी हॉल में तलबाए अलीगढ़ की मौजूदगी में गड़गड़ाहट वाली तालियां। जनाब मनोज यादव साहब रिवायत और असरी हिकमत से भरपूर और दोनों के हसीन इम्तिजाज वाला ये खिताब यकीनन यादगार रहेगा। आपको दिल की अमीर गहराइयों से मुबारकबाद। Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest of honor is a senior AMU alumnus coming from the United States, Dr. Rafat Hussain. He is a philanthropist in the US, working as a senior scientist at the FDA, and he's been working there for the past 28 years. These 28 years include 2 years on a National Research Council fellowship too, and before this he held research positions at a prestigious Kyoto University, Japan, and taught at the Université de Rennes, France for 5 years. He also availed of the US federal government's fellowship at National Institute of Standards and Technology in Maryland, and later served as a research associate at Georgetown University, Washington, DC. He is an alumnus of the Department of Chemistry, AMU, which he joined in 1972, and from where he completed his PhD in 1982. His public life is as illustrious as his career in the sciences. He is a life member of the oldest Aligarh Alumni Association in the US, the Aligarh Alumni Association of the Washington, DC, and he has served in various capacities to strengthen the association's philanthropic initiatives like scholarship programs for needy students in AMU and outside in Aligarh through the Muslim Social Uplift Society, and by promoting Urdu on specially created platforms for holding मुशायराज़। आपके बेनज़ीर इल्म दोस्ती, कौम परवरी और उर्दू से देरीना मोहब्बत पर क्यों ना अली सरदार जाफरी के अल्फाज में कहा जाए, ऐसे दीवाने फिर ना आएंगे, देख लो हमको बेमिसाल है हम। रफ़त हुसैन साहब से गुजारिश है कि अपना खिताब पेश करें।
थैंक यू मिस फ़ाइज़ा अब्बासी, कुछ ज़्यादा कर दिया आपने। वाओ, इट्स एन अमेजिंग फीलिंग टू बी एट Kennedy Auditorium. Though I visit the campus almost every couple of years, but did not get a chance to be inside the auditorium. सैकड़ों ऑडिटोरियम में मैं गया हूँ। जो चार्म
और ऑरा कनेडी ऑडिटोरियम का है, उसका जवाब नहीं। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। So, I promise to speak on post-pandemic scenario of education. And I put my thoughts on paper so I don't take more than 5 minutes, and I practiced. So hopefully it won't be more than 5 minutes. If I go beyond that, my sincere apologies. So respected Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mansoor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Gulrez, Honorable Registrar, Mr. Imran, and our Chief Guest, Professor Agarwal. Fellow Guest of Honor Honorees, Professor Sufyan Beg Saab, and distinguished alumni, and of course, the students, if there are any here. Assalamu alaikum, and all sorts of greetings. I'm not going to say everything. So my name is Rafat Hussain, as the Faiza introduced, and I am representing one of the oldest, or actually the oldest, Aligarh Alumni Association of the US, and that is Aligarh Alumni Association of Washington, DC. And we were honored and privileged to host our Vice Chancellor, Professor Tariq Mansoor Sahab, in 2019, just before the pandemic began. And I tell you that almost all the Vice Chancellor from Aligarh who visited the United States, we have hosted them. So that is a great honor for our association. So, बेग साहब को तो सब लोग जानते हैं। बेग साहब जो है जोक कहने में माहिर हैं, तो इसीलिए बेग साहब ने मेरे साथ भी एक्टिविटी कर दी। And he just called me like 2-3 days back and कहने लगे रफत साहब you are included in the list, और आपको उस पैकेज के साथ स्पीच भी आती है 5 मिनट की। तो मैंने कहा हो, my intention was only to attend and sneak out easily from here, because that is the feeling I wanted to have after a long time, I tell you. So anyway, he recruited me as a guest of honor and asked me to give a speech. So my initial intention was just to attend and leave the campus, because I was here for 2 days. So I have to quickly jog my mind and put my thought together what to say on this very important topic of post-pandemic scenario of education, which is a huge topic. Anyway, jokes apart, I am honored and privileged and humble to be included in the distinguished list of guest of honors. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Beg Saab, to include me, and Professor Mansoor, and entire Alumni Affair Committee. So in spite of short notice and struggling with jet lag, I attempted to put my thoughts together, as education is pretty close to my heart. I have been associated with the Aligarh Alumni Association in Washington, DC, the day I landed in the US in 1989. So it's almost like 45, 46 years I have been. And then our association runs a scholarship program, and many of you know that. And we have been giving like 350 scholarships per year to the students on need come merit basis. So, and these scholarships are for lifetime. So they are guaranteed forever as long as you continue your studies and perform well. So this is one of the small part of the association. Not going into the details, we do a lot of other things outside Aligarh too, but because of the time constraint, I'm not going to go into details. So before going into this year's topic, let me emphasize the importance of the education. Every single person sitting here realizes the fact that education is the most important commodity for the future generation. Education provides global and regional leadership and response to the contemporary challenges we face. And the live example is the current pandemic. The current global health pandemic shined a harsh light on our vulnerabilities and challenges humanity faces today. So UNESCO reported that more than 1.5 billion students' learning was hampered because of the pandemic or the school closures. So it is quite evident that we cannot return to the world as it was before pandemic. So there is a risk that COVID-19 may wipe out several decades of learning. So though COVID-19 has revealed human vulnerabilities, but it has also surfaced the extraordinary potent dynamism of humans. So today's topic on post-pandemic scenario of education is a huge topic, as I said, and it will be discussed in the afternoon session. So those who are interested should be joining that session. So because of the paucity of the time allotted to me, I would like to emphasize only few challenges and opportunities. So one is the access to the distant learning, and some of us also call it virtual learning. So a remarkable innovation is being made. As I was talking to Professor Gulrez, and he was asking me what you wanted to say about the pandemic. So a remarkable innovation is being made by educators to deal with the COVID-19 crisis, with families and communities showing resilience. So you will be pleased to learn that India is at par with global players in accessing distant learning. More than 54% of people have access to internet, which made access to education possible during pandemic. यार इस पे तो ताली बनती है ना. Because the United States is like a 54.5% people have internet access. The US is also. So only one of the drawback of the online education, everyone knows, is the absence of physical human social interaction. So we know that humans are social animals, and in current scenario, most social activities are now limited to social media. So solution is that social space provided by schools and colleges must be protected as we face transformation of education system. Second thing is teachers and educators should devise and implement a system to address learning losses among their students and incorporate digital technology for future learning and teaching. And number 3 is the promote knowledge sharing and peer learning and strengthening the education recovery. So I believe that such type of resource mobilization will certainly generate new employment opportunities. In the end, I would say the education needs to be at the heart of the post-pandemic world and need boldness of thoughts and courageous action. Thank you so much for listening, and I love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your kind words, and we congratulate you on finally fulfilling your dream of speaking in the Kennedy Hall and also getting a round of applause. Thank you very much. ख़वातीनो हज़रात, COVID-19 पेंडेमिक हमारे लिए बहुत सी रुकावटें लेके आया, but certainly it brought a push in our abilities to connect digitally and online. Dr. Kokan Shamsi, our guest of honor, was supposed to be here in Aligarh, but he could not on account of some health issues. But our heart goes out to him today because this must be a very ungodly hour in New York. He has joined us, and this certainly is not the hour in New York to be dressed in a sherwani and a topi, very much like an alig. We will be listening to him as he speaks to us online. Let me take a minute in introducing him. Dr. Kokan Shamsi is president of AMANA, the Aligarh Medical Alumni Association of North America, and is based in New York. He is co-founder and principal of RADMD, a US-based company with global footprint that provides radiology assessments for new drug and medical device development. Before this, he worked in top institutions of 5 countries over 3 continents. Actively contributing to research, he brings out quality publications regularly. It is worth mentioning that his wife, Mrs. Ghazala Kokan, also an AMU alumna, established the Diabetes Education and Awareness Program at the Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College Diabetes Center for educational awareness. It touched 20,000 patients in 5 years. Dr. Shamsi was at our Jain Medical College in 1978 for his MBBS, and he did his MD in radio diagnosis in 1983. Later, he went to the University of Antwerp, Belgium, for his PhD, and he also serves as adjunct faculty, Department of Radio Diagnosis at the Jain Medical College. I request Dr. Kokan Shamsi for his address.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. Respected Chief Guest, Professor Dp Agarwal, respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Tariq Mansoor, all guests of honor and Chairman of Alumni Committee, Professor Sufyan Beg, Professor Muhammad Mubin, Vice Chairman, distinguished guests and dear friends. Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, sat shri akal, and a very good day to you all. I'm really sorry that I could not be there in person. I so much wanted to be there to meet you and celebrate with you all. Words cannot convey the privilege and the honor that I feel to be invited by my alma mater to speak to you today. Whatever I am today is because of AMU. Like Faiza said, I have worked in 5 countries on 3 continents, but the best time of my life has been in Aligarh. AMU not only provided best-in-class education, it also trained me to deal with life challenges. AMU taught me reality of life, and I also learned this in Aligarh, a share of Allama Iqbal, जिंदगानी की हकीकत कोहकन के दिल से पूछ, जुए शीरे तेशो संगे गरा है जिंदगी. This goes without saying that I gained lifetime friends who will forever remain as part of me, part of my life. उनके प्यार और उनकी दुआओं की बहुत बरकत है. So thank you AMU, I owe it to you and will always remain indebted to you. मेरी सांसों पे नाम तुम्हारा है, अगर मैं खुश हूँ तो ये एहसान तुम्हारा है. A word about AMANA. It is Aligarh Medical Alumni Association of North America. Members are from Canada and USA. We have a very good bilateral relationship with the current faculty of JNMC and students, and there is a regular exchange of knowledge. It was critical during COVID, and we all pitched in when there was a need. Coming to the topic, the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted labor markets globally. In next couple of minutes, I'll focus on my experience in the USA during COVID. As you all know, the short-term consequences were sudden and severe. Millions of people were furloughed or lost jobs, and others rapidly adjusted to working from home as offices closed except for essential workers. We all felt the threat to the job market, but it opened new vistas of opportunities that will have long-term influence on consumption, enhanced productivity, and innovation. The pandemic accelerated existing trends in remote work. I manage a radiology company, and we were well ahead of the curve reading radiology examinations remotely. But it became almost 100% remote. Hiring practices changed. During the pandemic, we hired 30 people without meeting them face to face. This is a paradigm shift. We used to have 4 physical offices in the USA and Europe, and now we have 1. Although remote work brings its own challenges, there are new opportunities in terms of technology, training, human resources, work psychology, telemedicine, and like other speakers said, globalization of workforce. We need to prepare our students who will become future employers and employees. I'm part of National Health Services UK initiative looking for radiologists globally because they cannot satisfy their local demands. I want to congratulate the organizers to select this relevant theme and initiate the discussion with alumni from different countries and from different walks of life. AMU, with its global alumni presence, is in a great position to lead this conversation. It is essential to tailor the education to the new challenges and exploit new opportunities. I'm convinced that alumni can play a very important role to support these initiatives. In the end, I would like to reiterate that there is potential for all alumni to contribute to AMU in different ways and scale. Collecting funds for university is important, but non-financial contributions like mentoring, acting as role model, dissemination of expertise, professional development, and enhancing AMU's image can have immense long-term impact both on our alma mater and students. So let's join hands and give our unrestricted, unconditional, and unwavering support to AMU to bring these opportunities to our students. Thank you. Happy Sir Syed Day. Stay healthy and stay blessed. Khuda Hafiz.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया जनाब डॉक्टर कोकन शमसी साहब। इकबाल की नज़्म ज़िंदगी का ये शेर जो आपने पढ़ा है अपने ख़िताब में, उसका दूसरा शेर तलबा अलीगढ़ को आप ही की मिसाल पर तहरीक देता है कि अपनी दुनिया आप पैदा कर अगर जिंदों में है, अपनी दुनिया आप पैदा कर अगर जिंदों में है, सिर्र आदम है ज़मीरे कुन फ़ुकां है ज़िंदगी। Now it is time for us to release the souvenir of the Alumni Affairs Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, our subcommittee headed by Professor Syed Ziaur Rahman Saab and comprising Professor Farhan Ahmed Khan, Professor Rashmi Atri, Dr. Saim Farooqi, and Dr. Muhammad Nasir has worked really hard to produce this souvenir. I request everyone present on the dais to kindly release the souvenir. Thank you so much, all the dignitaries on the dais, and congratulations to the committee on the release of this souvenir. ख़वातीन व हज़रात, अब हम अपने मेहमान ख़ुसूसी प्रोफेसर डीपी अग्रवाल साहब का ख़िताब सुनेंगे। इससे कबल मैं ये अर्ज़ करना चाहूँगी कि मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी के काबिल सद एहतराम साबिक़ तालिब इल्म, शायर, मुजाहिद आज़ादी और रुकन कॉन्स्टिट्यूंट असेंबली मौलाना हसरत मोहानी जब अलीगढ़ या नैनी जेल में क़ैद बामशक्क़त की सज़ा काट रहे होते थे तो एक ही रौ में कभी सदा देते थे इनक़लाब ज़िंदाबाद और आज़ादी कामिल, और कभी चक्की पीसते पीसते पुकार उठते थे हज़रत कृष्ण अलैहि रहमा या रसूल अल्लाह। कृष्ण भक्ति में शराबोर उनका ये शेर देखिए कि हसरत की भी कबूल हो मथुरा में हाज़री, सुनते हैं आशिकों पे तुम्हारा है करम ख़ास। Our chief guest today, Professor Dp Agarwal, also upholds such traditions of syncretism and interfaith understanding. He has held coveted positions like the chairman UPSC for 6 years and member UPSC. He was founder director of the Atal Bihari Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, Gwalior, joint educational advisor technical in the HRD ministry, and managing director of Educational Consultants India Limited, a Government of India PSU. He was project director for Indo-UK REC's project and led to REC's becoming an NIT. He also served as the national project director for a World Bank project on technician education. An academician to the core, he has been an active teacher and researcher at the IIT Delhi, where he was Professor Mechanical Engineering and Dean. As visiting researcher, he went to the Imperial College London and Cranfield University, UK. He has been conferred with honorary fellowships, Engineer of the Year Award by the Institution of Engineers, and an honorary DSc degree of the Jivaji University, Gwalior, 2009. संस्कृत का एक श्लोक है, उद्धृत करना चाहूँगी। नास्ति विद्या समो बंधु, नास्ति विद्या समः सुहृत्, नास्ति विद्या समाम वित्तम, नास्ति विद्या समाम सुखम. There is no friend, no companion, no wealth, or no bliss as great as knowledge. A true knowledge seeker at heart, he covered major milestones in education and learning as he received his MTech and PhD degrees from IIT Delhi in mechanical engineering. But this journey began when in 1970, he graduated with honors in mechanical engineering from the Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology, AMU. Chief guest, Professor Dp Agarwal.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of the great university called Aligarh Muslim University, distinguished Pro Vice Chancellor, a very eminent guest of honors, many teachers and faculty of this great university, many seniors of mine, other alumni friends, young students. Today is a great day. When I stand here, I'm always honored. This is the third time that I have an opportunity to be a part of this group. But more than that, I'm humbled. And I learned this as I grew in my profession, as I grew in my life. All very distinguished guest of honors spoke about what Aligarh gives. Talk to any Aligarh, he would always say, Aligarh made me. So I end by saying, what I did achieve in life, and God has been very kind on me, and I owe this to my alma mater, this institute. सभी लोगों ने जो आज की थीम है उस पर चर्चा की। मैं शायद इसके बारे में नहीं कहना चाहता हूँ। पिछले 1 साल से मैं अलग अलग शहरों में अपने अलीगढ़ के मित्रों से चर्चा करता रहा हूँ और मुझे समझने का मौका मिला कि हम इस वक्त एक ऐसी मुकाम पर हैं जब कभी अब मैं समझ सकता हूँ कि सर सैयद साहब के जहन में क्या बात रही होगी। उन्होंने इतना बड़ा एक इदारा तैयार कराया, पर सबसे बड़ी बात ये कि उन्होंने एक जागरूकता जो हमें पैदा की और शिक्षा के लिए जो एक कौम को ऊपर उठना है उसके बारे में बात की। अब इसी को दोबारा सोचने की कोशिश करें। And particularly when you look at historical perspective, we learn a lot from history, but we also find stresses in history. The reverberating point today in society makes us think, is there a second need of a renaissance? And then I think, is it the role of university to look at what a community must do and what a community must grow? बहुत खुशी है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब मेरे सीनियर्स डायस पे बैठे सभी प्रबुद्धजन बड़े मुल्कों की बातें करते हैं। हम सब जब अलीगढ़ आए छोटे छोटे परिवारों के थे, बहुत अमीर नहीं थे। आपने हमें एक ऐसा मॉडल दिया जहां हम सब कुछ सीख सकते थे। हमारे अंदर आपने एक ह्यूमैनिटी क्रिएट की, हमको एक ह्यूमन बीइंग बनाया। तो क्या आपको नहीं लगता है कि अब समय है यूनिवर्सिटी उन लोगों की तरफ देखे जिन तक कोई जाना ही नहीं चाहता है? पुणे की चर्चा में करीब 100 लोग आए होंगे, जिनमें से कुछ साइंटिस्ट भी थे और व्यापारिक वर्ग भी थे। सबने एक बात कही कि जब महाराष्ट्र से किसी छोटे शहर का एक बच्चा आगे जाने की कोशिश करता है तो उसके हाथ को पकड़ने वाला कोई नहीं है। तो मेरी पहली गुजारिश आपसे है कि आपने बहुत कुछ किया है विश्वविद्यालय के लिए, अपने लिए, शायद कौम के लिए भी। मैं जितनी बार यहाँ आता हूँ नए एक्सपेरिमेंट मुझे सुनने को मिलते हैं, पर जब आप ऐसी बातें सुनते हैं तो आप करीब अंदाज़ा करिए कि क्या कोई इसके हाथ को पकड़ने वाला है। और मैं चाहता हूँ कि ये विश्वविद्यालय, ये यूनिवर्सिटी, ये इदारा उन सब लोगों का हाथ पकड़े जिनके पास कोई जाना नहीं चाहता। जो इस वक्त डरे हैं, घबराए हैं, और कोशिश करें कि ऐसा कुछ न करें। हर रोज़ आप मोबाइल पकड़िए तो आपको ढेरों व्हाट्सएप आ जाते हैं जिनको पढ़ के आपको डर लगता है। और ख़ास तौर से जब मेरे ऐसे मित्र जो अच्छी अच्छी जगहों पे हैं उनको फॉरवर्ड करते हैं, दिल दहला वाली घटनाएं, किसको पकड़ लिया, किसको जेल में डाल दिया, किसको आज खाना नहीं मिला, कौन आप परेशान हैं, इस भय को कम करिए। और ख़ास तौर से जब हम 180 देशों में हैं, हमसे बड़ा कोई भी नेटवर्क नहीं है, और हम चाहें तो एक ऐसा पॉजिटिव एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट कर सकते हैं जो कौम को बनाएगा, जो देश को बनाएगा, और जो मेरे भाई और मित्र और बहनें विदेशों में रहती हैं तो ग्लोब को भी बनाएगा। आज ग्लोबल मीट है, सबके सब अमेरिका, इंग्लैंड, जर्मनी की बातें करते हैं। 190 देश और भी हैं। क्या हम कोशिश करें कि उन 190 देशों को ले भी इस यूनिवर्सिटी में आएं? वहाँ भी ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको वो शिक्षा चाहिए जो सिर्फ ये यूनिवर्सिटी दे सकती है। हम सब ने ही कहा कि यह आपको ह्यूमन बनाती है, हम सब ने ही कहा कि हमको पीस में रहना सिखाती है, तो क्या उन लोगों को ज़रूरत नहीं है? तो क्या हम मिशन तैयार कर सकते हैं एलुमनाई का, जो दुनिया भर के लोगों को यहाँ लेके आए? और सर सैयद जी ने जो एक सपना हमें दिया, कल ही उनका दिन है, सर सैयद डे हम मनाएंगे, और आज के दिन हम जब मिल रहे हैं और पूरे देशों में हम फैले हैं, तो क्या हम कोशिश न करें कि इस यूनिवर्सिटी का जो नाम है वो G7, G25 तक न रहे, बट ऐसे जीज में जाए जो हमसे भी नीचे हैं। मैं चाहता हूँ हमारे एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन के चीफ एक अलग से चैप्टर क्रिएट करें अफ्रीकी राज्यों में, नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज़ के एरियाओं में। ऐसे लोगों को इस शिक्षा की ज़रूरत है। पेंडेमिक आया, अलीगढ़ ने जितना काम किया शायद आप लोग नहीं समझते हैं। हमारे वाइस चांसलर साहब क्योंकि उस विधा से हैं, सबको ही पता है कि यूपी में जो स्थिति हुई उसमें अलीगढ़ का योगदान उस वक्त, और जो सोच हमें मिली कि यदि हम अलीगढ़ में हैं और अलीगढ़ से पढ़े हैं, यादव साहब जी ने कहा कितनी भी मुश्किल आए हम एक रास्ता तलाश लेते हैं। अब ज़रूरत है ऐसे रास्ते की। लोगों ने रिपोर्ट पेश की, मैं उनको कोट नहीं करना चाहूँगा, पर पिछले कुछ दिनों पहले एक नई बात बहुत ही ख़ास व्यक्ति ने कही कि हम 27% पॉवर्टी लाइन के नीचे हैं। उनमें से कौम के कितने लोग हैं मुझे कहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। वक्त व वक्त मैं कहता रहा हूँ, और आज हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी है इस नई हाइब्रिड एजुकेशन के माध्यम से कि उन लोगों को जो अपने हाथ से काम करते रहे हैं, जिनको कोई पूछता नहीं, स्कूल जाते नहीं, क्या हम एक सिस्टम तैयार करते हैं कि उनकी स्किल्स को सर्टिफाई करें? क्या हम अपने अमेरिका, इंग्लैंड, जर्मनी में रहने वाले एलुमनाई मित्रों से पूछ सकते हैं कि भाई आप कोशिश करें कि वो कुछ टूल्स, वो कुछ मंत्र आप लाएं, और जिन लोगों को सर्टिफिकेशन की ज़रूरत है उनको हम सर्टिफाई करें। और ये मैं बता सकता हूँ कि ये संख्या इतनी ज़्यादा है कि आप लाखों को पार करें, करोड़ों में पहुँच जाएं, ये बहुत मुश्किल नहीं है। स्वस्थ आदमी का हाथ तो हर एक कोई पकड़ रहा है। हम स्कॉलरशिप तो दे रहे हैं, पर स्कॉलरशिप की ज़रूरत है उस व्यक्ति को जो वहाँ तक जा ही नहीं पा रहा है। पुनः में उससे पूछा लोगों ने, सर ये बताइए कि आप ये बहुत सारी बातें करते रहते हैं, इनको करें कैसे? सबसे बहुत ही आसान तरीका इसका ये है कि जितनी अपॉर्चुनिटी हमारे पास हैं, हम अपनी कौम को उसके साथ ले जाएं। ये इतना आसान रास्ता नहीं है। एक चीफ सेक्रेटरी रिटायर हुए तमिलनाडु गवर्नमेंट से, मैम जानती होंगी, पिछले दिनों उन्होंने मुझे फ़ोन किया। उन्होंने कहा साहब 120 नौकरियां ऐसी हैं जहां पिछले साल में किसी भी बच्चे ने जो इस्लाम धर्म को मानता है अप्लाई किया हो। तो ये कैसा डर, क्यों? आप बच्चों को कहिए आए, आगे आए, दुनिया देखें। हम सब ने दुनिया देखी है। अभी हमारे प्रोफेसर साहब बात कर रहे थे कि 5 देशों में काम किया, और इस मंच पे बैठे लोग भी देश विदेश गए। देश विदेश जाना अलीगढ़ की कल्चर से दूर जाने की बात नहीं है, पर अलीगढ़ की कल्चर को एनरिच करने का एक माध्यम है। और आज के दिन मैं चाहता हूँ कि हमारा नेटवर्क, जो हर बैच का एक नेटवर्क बना हुआ है, मेरा 1970 इंजीनियरिंग का बैचमेट रोज़ कोई ना कोई चर्चा। कल एक उन्होंने मुझे, दुखद बात है कि मेरे एक साथी जो मेरे बैचमेट थे, 3 दिन पहले उनकी डेथ हुई। उनके बेटे ने एक बहुत ही मार्मिक बात लिखी है कि साहब वो, उनका लगाव अलीगढ़ से इतना ज़्यादा था कि जब तक दिन में एक बार तराना नहीं सुनते थे वो सोते नहीं थे। यदि इतना हमारा लगाव, हमारा कमिटमेंट है, तो मेरी सिर्फ एक ही गुजारिश है कि हम सब मिलके कौम को आगे ले जाएं। इतिहास में बहुत सारे समय आते हैं जब लगता है कि सब कुछ मिट गया, फिर एक नया सवेरा आता है। उस सवेरे की मुझे इच्छा है, मेरी चाहत है। मैं जब भी विश्वविद्यालय आता हूँ, मेरा घर है, मुझे आदर मिलता रहा है। मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि मुझे ज़रा भी मौका मिले मैं चला हूँ। उस वक्त मैं नहीं सोचता हूँ कि मैं चेयरमैन यूपीएससी था या कौन था। अलीगढ़ ने एजुकेशन के मामले में इतनी उछालें ली हैं कि अब मुझे ये समझने में मुश्किल होती है कि कोई हमसे आगे भी जा रहा है, पर हमसे आगे जाएंगे। और उस दौड़ में अलीगढ़ की तरह से भाग लेंगे। एक और भी तरीका है, आप मेरे आगे, मैंने आपको लात मारी, गिराया, अलीगढ़ ने ये नहीं सिखाया। उस दौड़ में जाएं, उस सवेरे की तलाश करें, उस आदमी की तलाश करें जहाँ कोई नहीं पहुँचता है। बहुत सारी चीज़ें मैं खुल के नहीं कहना चाहता हूँ, इशारा आप समझते होंगे। धन्यवाद आपका, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, स्मृति में संजोने योग्य उद्बोधन के लिए आपको हृदय से बधाई। हमारे लिए आपका प्रेम हमें किंग कर्तव्य विमूढ़ करता है कि हम आपका जो सपना है अलीगढ़ के लिए, उसे पूरा करने के लिए सदा कटिबद्ध रहें। Ladies and gentlemen, after this memorable address by the chief guest, it is time for us to honor each and every member present here, guest of honor and the chief guest, with a special memento. I will request our Vice Chancellor, Professor Tariq Mansoor Sahab, to kindly present a memento to Professor Dp Agarwal, our chief guest, whom we have just heard. I will now request Professor Mohammad Gulrez, Pro Vice Chancellor AMU, to present a memento to Mr. Rafat Hussain, Guest of Honor. To honor Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui, I request Mr. Muhammad Imran, IPS, AMU Registrar. We have with us Mr. Mansoor Ahmed as guest of honor, and I request Chairman Alumni Affairs Committee, Professor Mirza Muhammad Sufyan Beg, to kindly do the honors. I will now request Vice Chairman Alumni Affairs Committee, Professor Muhammad Mubin, to present a memento to Mr. Manoj Yadav, IPS. We thank Ms. Jahazeb Akhtar for her presence, and once again I'll request Professor Mohammad Gulrez, Pro Vice Chancellor AMU, to kindly present her a memento. And we do have a memento for Dr. Kokan Shamsi, but when he is available physically on behalf of Vice Chancellor AMU, we will be presenting it to him. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone present on the dais today is an AMU alumnus, including the one to have the last word, Professor Tariq Mansoor, Vice Chancellor AMU, presiding over this inaugural function. Before I invite him for his presidential address, allow me to enumerate some noteworthy accomplishments of this tenure, which will be found very delightful by all the alumni delegates. First and foremost is the A+ grade awarded to AMU by NAC. And the Category 2 autonomy granted by the UGC, which is enjoyed by only 5 other higher education institutions of the country, to the credit of our Vice Chancellor. Also to his credit are 2 new colleges, namely the College of Nursing and the Paramedical College, and the newly formed Department of Cardiology. The Centers for Biomedical Engineering, Artificial Intelligence, Green and Renewable Energy, and MCH Wing, and the Darashikoh Center for Interfaith Understanding and Dialogue have also been started by him. Owing to him, we have the statutory approval for the Institute of Pharmacy from the President of India, which has been secured. We are richer and more diverse by several new courses, namely DM Cardiology, MCH Neurosurgery, MBA Hospital Administration, and MBA Islamic Finance, Masters in Architecture, Solar Energy, Biomedical Engineering, and Artificial Intelligence, Masters in Material Sciences, Masters in Green Energy and Sustainable Development, and Masters in Earthquake Engineering and Disaster Management. He also started a BTech in Automobile Engineering, Electrical Vehicles, and another BTech in Food Technology. The MSc in Digital Science, Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics, the BSc in Nursing and BSc Paramedical Sciences, the MVOC, Honors, and 4 new MD courses in the Faculty of Unani Medicine. Let me also move on to another important credit of Professor Tariq Mansoor, which is the smooth conduct of all academic and administrative matters in the university without any hindrance, despite some crisis situations arising intermittently. Much to our predicament, the COVID-19 pandemic was an upheaval that we know of. Nevertheless, Many other crisis events potent to ruffle the peace and tranquility on the campus were disposed in quietude by him. It is all owing to his uncanny skills at people management that no losses occurred to students' careers and the academic session progressed smoothly. आपके लिए कोई शेर नहीं पढ़ रही हूँ सर, ये तमाम अशार जो मेहमानान को मैंने नज़र किए आपके बिहाफ पे किए. We address you, we request you for your presidential address.
Chief guest, Professor Dp Agarwal, Vice Chancellor, Professor Mohammad Gulrez, guests of honor, Dr. Kokan Shamshi from USA, Dr. Rafat Hussain, Mr. Manoj Yadav, Mrs. Jahazeb Akhtar, Mr. Mansoor Ahmad, Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui, Registrar Mr. Muhammad Imran, Chairman Alumni Affairs Committee Professor Sufyan Beg, Vice Chairman Professor Muhammad Mumeen, members of the AMU Alumni Committee, Dr. Faiza Abbasi, delegates of the World Alumni Meet 2022, faculty, staff, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, good morning, and a heartfelt welcome to the World AMU Alumni Meet. देखिए सबसे पहले तो मैं जो हमारे एलुमनाई, हमारे स्टाफ, चाहे वो टीचर्स हों चाहे वो नॉन टीचर्स हों, जिनकी जो पास अवे कर गए कोविड-19 पेंडेमिक में, मैं उनको कंडोलेंसेस देता हूँ. हम लोगों का बहुत नुकसान हुआ था इसमें और हम सब वो सब हमारे we will always remember them and they will always be in our hearts. दूसरी बात, मैं सुफियान बेग साहब को और जितने मेंबर्स हैं एलुमनाई कमेटी के, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी के, इन सब को मुबारकबाद देता हूँ कि इन्होंने ये वर्ल्ड एलुमनाई मीट 2 साल बाद ऑफलाइन मोड में किया है. इसके अलावा इन्होंने जो है कोविड-19 के टाइम एक AMU एलुमनाई डायरेक्टरी भी पब्लिश की जो 10 अप्रैल 2021 में हाइब्रिड मोड में रिलीज़ किया गया. और इसमें जो वर्ल्ड एलुमनाई डायरेक्टरी है इसमें ख़ास बात यह है कि ये कंट्री और सिटी वाइज है. तो हमारे किसी भी स्टूडेंट्स को अगर एलुमनाई को देखना है कि भाई न्यूयॉर्क में कौन है तो उसको वो सिटी वाइज देख सकता है. देखिए हमारा जो AMU एलुमनाई नेटवर्क है वो जैसे डीपी अग्रवाल साहब ने अभी कहा और लोगों ने भी कहा बहुत यूनिक है, बहुत यूनिक AMU नेटवर्क है. ये कैलिफोर्निया से जापान तक एक्सटेंड करता है और रशिया से ऑस्ट्रेलिया तक एक्सटेंड करता है, हर कॉन्टिनेंट में एक्सटेंड करता है. और बाकी लोग जो हैं, जब अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी के लोग होते हैं सऊदी अरेबिया में और जगह, जब वो देखते हैं AMU के स्टूडेंट्स में बॉन्डिंग तो वो बहुत जेलस फील करते हैं कि साहब AMU वाले जो हैं वो तो एक दूसरे को फेवर करते हैं. अब हमारी कुछ एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन से उनमें डिफरेंसेस भी हो तो होते ही, वो कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है, लेकिन हमारा जो है बहुत यूनिक नेटवर्क है जिसको हमें आगे और बढ़ाना चाहिए. उसके अलावा देखिए हमारे जो भी यूनिवर्सिटी में आ जाता है, आप सब चाहे स्टूडेंट्स भी हैं यहाँ बहुत, वो किसी भी कास्ट का हो, किसी रिलीजन का हो, किसी रीजन का हो, किसी कंट्री का हो, वो एलिग हो जाता है. फिर कोई डिफरेंसेस नहीं रहते, सिर्फ वो एलिगेरियन है और इसके अलावा कोई उसके अंदर वो नहीं है. सबसे पहले हम लोग जो हैं वो एलिगेरियन हैं, इसके बाद जो है हम कुछ और हैं. तो ये सब लोग, और ख़ास तौर से जो हमारे तलबा जो बैठे हुए हैं, हम लोग हमेशा इस बात को याद रखें, फर्स्ट वी आर एलिगेरियंस, लेटर ऑन वी आर समथिंग एल्स. हमारे एलुमनाई जो हैं वो हमारी मदद करते हैं और अभी कोविड पेंडेमिक में भी एलुमनाई ने मदद करी, जो भी वो मदद कर सकते थे, मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट में भी और चीज़ों में, ऑक्सीजन इंस्टॉलेशन प्लांट्स में भी. इसके अलावा हमारे कुछ एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन थी, ख़ासतौर से शिकागो की एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन, उसने जो है ऑनलाइन टीचिंग में मदद करी, ख़ासतौर से लड़कियों की मदद करी ऑनलाइन टीचिंग में। उन्होंने 80 लाख रुपए, 1 करोड़ रुपए दिए, जो गैजेट्स जो थे लड़कियों के लिए, उनके लिए लैपटॉप्स और टैबलेट्स और मोबाइल फ़ोन्स, ये जो वुमेंस कॉलेज की लड़कियां थीं उन्होंने शिकागो, ग्रेटर शिकागो एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन ने दिए। इस तरह से और एलुमनाई, ये तो मैंने जो शिकागो एलुमनाई एसोसिएशन का नाम लिया वो इलस्ट्रेटिव है, और एलुमनाई एसोसिएशंस ने भी काम दिया, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में भी, ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने भी, वेस्ट एशिया में, सब ने दिया। तो ये ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि मैं उनको कोई सिंगल आउट कर रहा हूँ। जैसे डॉक्टर कोकन शमशी साहब ने कहा, उन्होंने बिल्कुल सही बात कही कि देखिए जो हमारे एलुमनाई हैं वो बहुत तरीके से हेल्प कर सकते हैं अल्मा मैटर की। उसमें एक फाइनेंशियल है, फाइनेंशियल इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट आस्पेक्ट, और हमें जो है रेनोवेशन भी बिल्डिंग्स का चाहिए, हेरिटेज बिल्डिंग्स भी हमारी, और उसके अलावा स्टूडेंट्स को भी स्कॉलरशिप चाहिए, स्टूडेंट्स की भी हेल्प होनी चाहिए। लेकिन इसके अलावा वो जो है परसेप्शन ऑफ द यूनिवर्सिटी, प्लेसमेंट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स, और ये ज़रूरी नहीं है वो खुद प्लेस करवाएं, वो ऐसी पोजीशन में हो सकते हैं कि जो उनके बाकी कलीग्स हैं जो एलिगेरियन नहीं रहे हैं या एलुमनाई नहीं रहे हैं, उनसे वो हेल्प करके उनकी भी जो है वो हेल्प ले सकते हैं। अब इसके अलावा जो है हम लोग जो है एलुमनाई अफेयर्स कमेटी जो है कुछ प्रोग्राम्स चलाती है। एक उसमें है एलिग इनरिचमेंट प्रोग्राम, जो ये फॉरेन एलुमनाई के लिए, बेसिकली अमेरिका के एलुमनाई के लिए, यूके के एलुमनाई के लिए। तो इसमें क्या है कि हमने 250 प्रोग्राम्स कराए इसमें ऑर्गेनाइज। इसका एक ऑफिस भी है और प्रोफेसर ज़ियाउर रहमान इसके कन्वीनर हैं। तो इसमें जो है जो भी आता है यहाँ पे, इंडिया फंसी कोई एलुमनाई आ रहा है, वो किसी और काम के लिए आ रहा है, हम उसे इनवाइट करते हैं कि आप AMU आ जाइए और यहाँ पे एक लेक्चर दे दीजिए, और उसे लोकल हॉस्पिटैलिटी देते हैं। इसमें मेडिकल कॉलेज में भी आए लोग, इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में भी आए, लाइफ साइंसेज में भी आए, बाकी और फैकल्टीज़ में भी आए लोग जो हैं। हमने 250 प्रोग्राम्स ऑर्गेनाइज किए हैं इसमें। अब फ़िलहाल कोविड के टाइम पे इश्यूज़ आ गए थे तो ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम्स हुए, लेकिन अब दोबारा लोग जो हैं ऑफलाइन प्रोग्राम में आ गए। इसके अलावा जो है समर एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम्स चला रहे हैं। पहले समर यूनिवर्सिटी के नाम से होता था वो, लेकिन उस पर ऑब्जेक्शन हुआ भाई यूनिवर्सिटी नहीं ले सकते UGC एक्ट के तहत, तो उसका जो है वो एलिग इनरिचमेंट प्रोग्राम और समर एकेडमिक प्रोग्राम्स भी कई फैकल्टीज़ में चल रहे हैं। इसके अलावा एक और प्रोग्राम है कशिश, जो एक्चुअली हमारे बहुत से प्रोमिनेंट एलुमनाई हैं, वो अपने बच्चों को उन्होंने AMU में नहीं पढ़ाया, उन्होंने यूरोप भेज दिया, अमेरिका भेज दिया, और जगह भेज दिया। अब उनकी बॉन्डिंग कैसे की जाए, ये और पब्लिक स्कूल्स और पब्लिक इंस्टीट्यूशंस भी इस तरह से बॉन्डिंग कर रहे हैं। तो उसमें ये है कि वो बच्चे यहाँ पे कुछ टाइम गुजारें, 2 हफ्ते 1 महीना यहाँ पे गुजारें, और समर में गुजारें या किसी और टाइम गुजारें। तो अगर किसी ने इंजीनियरिंग किया तो हम उसे यहाँ पे इंटर्नशिप दे देंगे। इसके अलावा किसी ने मेडिकल किया तो यहाँ पे उसको ट्रेनिंग पीरियड दे देंगे। किसी ने कॉमर्स में किया है तो उसको यहाँ पे 2 हफ्ते महीने भर आए। तो ये भी एक प्रोग्राम है जो हम चाहते हैं, जो उन लोगों की भी बॉन्डिंग स्टार्ट हो जो किसी वजह से एलुमनाई नहीं रह पाए, लेकिन उनके पेरेंट्स एलुमनाई रहे। ये लखनऊ में जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा कई स्कूल्स कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे, तो ये भी हमारा प्रोग्राम है, इसमें शामिल हों लोग। देखिए जो भी यहाँ पे सजेशंस दिए एलुमनाई ने, जो हमारे गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर्स ने, इन सब सजेशंस को मैंने भी नोट किया है, चेयरमैन एलुमनाई अफेयर्स कमेटी में नोट किया है। वी कंसिडर देम सीरियसली, और हम इसके ऊपर पूरी कोशिश करेंगे कि इन पे इम्प्लीमेंट करें। अब इसके अंदर जो है कुछ और भी मुझे सजेशंस आए हैं, मैं उसके बारे में आपसे कहूँ, इसलिए मैंने कुछ सीनियर टीचर से कहा था कि कुछ सजेशंस दें। तो एक सजेशन जो आया है वो ये है कि AMU कॉरपोरेट नेटवर्क होना चाहिए। It is to involve alumni working in the corporate sector or the owners of corporate houses support the university's research and development program through their organization's corporate social responsibility fund। तो आपको पता है हर जो पब्लिक एंटिटी है, कॉर्पोरेट एंटिटी है, उसको 2% CSR में देना होता है, कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी में। तो वो हम लोगों को भी दे। अभी पार कॉरपोरेशन में हमारी एक एलुमनाई हैं, उन्होंने एक प्रपोजल हमसे जमा करवाया है, उसमें स्कूल्स का भी हमने जमा किया है और इंटेंसिव कुछ हॉस्पिटल का किया है कि उन्होंने कहा हम इसमें फ़ंड दिलाएंगे, वो बहुत एडवांस स्टेज पे है। इस तरह से और भी हम चाहते हैं कि और जो एलुमनाई हैं जो कॉरपोरेट वर्ल्ड में हैं वो एक हमारे AMU कॉरपोरेट नेटवर्क इस्टेब्लिश हो, जो एक सेल हो अंडर द ऑफिस ऑफ द एलुमनाई अफेयर्स कमेटी अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी। उसके बाद जो है एक एलुमनाई फिलैंथ्रोपी काउंसिल भी होनी चाहिए। तो इसमें जो है दिस विल बी टू कंट्रीब्यूट डिवाइस वेज ऑफ रेजिंग फंड्स एंड इनिशिएट प्रोग्राम्स टू सपोर्ट नीडी स्टूडेंट्स, जो DP अग्रवाल साहब ने बात कही थी अभी, कि उन लोगों तक भी हम पहुँचें जो हु रियली रिक्वायर आवर सपोर्ट एंड आवर हेल्प। तो ये एलुमनाई फिलैंथ्रोपी काउंसिल टू कंट्रीब्यूट डिवाइस वेज ऑफ रेजिंग फंड्स एंड इनिशिएट प्रोग्राम्स टू सपोर्ट नीडी स्टूडेंट्स एंड हेल्प ऑगमेंट द यूनिवर्सिटीज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एज पर द नीड। तो ये 2 और प्रोग्राम्स हैं। देखिए जो इसका थीम है कॉन्फ्रेंस है, उसके बारे में बस 2-3 चीज़ें कहूँगा मैं, इसलिए वी आर ऑलरेडी गेटिंग लेट। Since the Cold War, 2 events they have affected the whole world. They have created turmoil. One was the financial collapse in 2008, and the other was the COVID. As the great, or as the Russian leader Lenin once is supposed to have said, there are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. तो 10 साल गुजर जाते हैं, कुछ नहीं होता, और कभी हफ्तों में 10 साल हो जाती हैं। तो कोविड-19 भी वही हुआ है। When COVID-19 is one of those times when history has spread. तो अब इसके अंदर जो है वो दुनिया जो है वो बदली है। कैसे बदली? पहले ही बदल रही थी दुनिया। iPhone, smartphones, they had already connected us to the internet. Our mobile phones, they are already part of our computers. और जैसा यादव साहब ने कहा था और लोगों ने कहा, in India 550 million people they are having mini computers. 550 million people. देखिए, तो we were already having a digital world, but the COVID-19 pandemic has obliterated the last obstacle to a digital world, and that is the change in attitudes. It has changed our attitudes. Earlier we were not thinking of having people through video conferencing, not having consultation with a doctor through video conferencing. Earlier in alumni meets, we are not connecting people through video link, as today we have Kokan Shamsi has connected today. So this is the change in attitude which the COVID-19 has brought out. So that is the most important thing. And now all of us, especially our students, they must adopt to the digital world. Because online education, online teaching, this has come to stay. It has some advantages, disadvantages. Both the things are there. But it is something which is there to stay, and we have to adopt it. During the COVID-19 pandemic, a serving Prime Minister participated in a university event after a gap of 64 years. And President of India also participated, Shri Ram Nath Kovind. In the end, I wish this program all the success, and I'm sure the deliberations will benefit all of us and contribute in the development of the university and strengthening our alumni network. And I once again assure all the alumni, whatever suggestions they have given, we will seriously consider them. Thank you so much.
दिल से तशक्कुर इस खिताब के लिए रुतबा और मर्तबा शेखुल जामिया का था, मगर अंदाज़ बयान और लबो लहजा एक मुशफ़िक़ बाप का था. Sir, the Alumni Affairs Committee will forever be grateful to you for your special attention and the special place the university's alum engagement enjoys in your larger scheme of things. जब सदारती खुतबा हो जाता है तो उसके बाद हक़ सिर्फ तशक्कुराती कलिमात का होता है कि उन्हें अदा किया जाए. And for this, I will request Professor Muhammad Mubin Saab, the Deputy Chairman of the Alumni Affairs Committee, to move the vote of thanks, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Tariq Mansoor,
Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Mohammad Gulrez, Chief Guest of the function Professor Dp Agarwal, Guest of Honor Dr. Kokan Shamshi, Dr. Rafat Hussain, Mr. Manoj Yadav, Dr. Jahazeb Akhtar, Mr. Mansoor Ahmad, Dr. Shams Tabre, Chairman Alumni Affairs Committee, Professor Mirza Muhammad Sufyan Beg, members of the Alumni Affairs Committee, alumni of the Aligarh Muslim University, ladies and gentlemen. I feel extremely privileged for having been assigned the pleasant task of proposing the vote of thanks to all those who have contributed in one way or the other to make this World Alumni Meet a success. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to an eminent teacher, educational administrator, and institutional builder, Professor Dp Agarwal, a distinguished alumnus of Aligarh Muslim University, NIT Delhi, an ex-member and chairman of the Union Public Service Commission, New Delhi, for accepting our invitation and sparing time out of his busy schedule and gracing the occasion as chief guest and sharing his experiences with us. We all are inspired by your great words, sir. Thank you, sir. I am equally thankful to Dr. Kokan Shamshi, a distinguished radiologist and alumnus of JNMC AMU Aligarh, and former adjunct faculty at JNMC AMU and co-founder and principal at Red MD Brity, New York, Dr. Rafat Hussain, an alumnus of Department of Chemistry, Aligarh Muslim University, former faculty at Université Rennes, France, and scientist at FDA, USA, Mr. Manoj Yadav, an alumnus of Department of Economics and Business Administration, Aligarh Muslim University, and NPA Hyderabad, a senior IPS officer and presently serving as Director General National Human Rights Commission, Dr. Jahazeb Akhtar, a distinguished alumna of Aligarh Muslim University, JNU, Nalsar, Hyderabad, IM Bangalore, and Syracuse University, New York, a senior IRS officer presently serving as Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Mr. Mansoor Ahmad, an engineering graduate of 1985 batch of AMU Aligarh, and presently serving as President of Isuzu Motors International UAE, and Dr. Shams Tabre Siddiqui, a young medical entrepreneur and alumnus of Aligarh Muslim University and Paulo State Medical University, Russia, presently Managing Director, Crossroad Groups of Dental Clinics, Dubai, and one of the first dentists to receive UAE Golden Residency for honoring us with their presence as guest of honor and sharing their inspirational thoughts. Their presence among us is a great source of inspiration. Without the keen supervision and generous support from the Vice Chancellor, the organization of this meet would not have been possible. Sir, we are thankful to you for taking out time from your extremely busy schedule and presiding over the function. I am also thankful to the Pro Vice Chancellor for his kind presence during the inaugural function and providing us the much needed encouragement. The help and support from the Registrar, Mr. Imran Ahmad, IPS, and Finance Officer, Professor Mohammad Mohsin Khan, in organizing this program is gratefully acknowledged. The efforts made by Professor M. Shafiqi Doi, MIC Public Relations, Professor F.S. Sherani, Coordinator, Cultural Education Center, Professor Zaki Anwar Siddiqui, MIC Land and Gardens, Professor Fareed Mehdi, MIC Building Department, Professor Muhammad Rehan, MIC Electricity, Dr. Parvez Muhammad Khan, Director, Professor M.N. Farooqi Computer Center, Dr. Ali Jafar Abedi, University Health Officer, and their staff in organizing this meet is sincerely acknowledged. Dr. Faiza Abbasi, Director, UGC Human Resource Development Center, deserves a special mention for meticulously conducting the program. Professor Mirza Muhammad Sufyan Beg, the Chairman of the Alumni Affairs Committee, truly deserves appreciation for organizing this meet and making all efforts for its success. The kind support from the members of the Alumni Affairs Committee and Subcommittee in organizing this meet is gratefully acknowledged. I shall be failing in my duties if I do not express my sincere thanks and gratitude to our alumni who registered for this meet in large numbers and made it a great success. In the end, I once again thank all of you for your contribution and being part of this event. A small announcement, please. After University Tarana and National Anthem, you all are requested to proceed for tea. For students, we have made arrangement on the left-hand side of in the lawns on the left-hand side, and for faculty members and all the delegates, the arrangement has been made on the lawn, in the lawns on the right-hand side. Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच प्रोफेसर मोहम्मद मुबीन साहब। बड़ी नासिपासी होगी अगर हम प्रोफेसर मोहम्मद मुबीन साहब का भी शुक्रिया अदा ना करें। अब से 5 दिनों बाद दुख्तर नेक अख्तर की निकाह के फरीज़े से सुबुकदोश होने वाले हैं, लेकिन फ़िलहाल यहाँ दिनों रात इस प्रोग्राम की कामयाबी में सर्व कर रखे हैं। I also need to make a small announcement before we present I Know What You're Waiting For. At 3 o'clock in this hall, on this stage, we will be presenting the legendary Sir Syed play. This is a play जो एक शाहकार तख्लीक है CEC AMU की, and there are 100 actors in this play, so everyone is requested to give it a good audience. सबने दिल थाम रखे हैं और सबने सांसें रोक रखी हैं, and everyone is sitting back to enjoy the AMU Tarana. May I request that after the Tarana, when the national anthem of our country is played, we stand in its honor. Thank you so much.
चमन है मेरा चमन, मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल हूँ। जो ताके हरम में रोशन है, वो शमा यहाँ भी जलती है। इस दश्त के गोशे गोशे से एक जुए हयात उबलती है। वफा परवानों की ये दश्त जुनू दीवानों का, ये बज़्म वफा परवानों की ये शहर तरब रोमानों का, ये खुल्द बरी अरमानों की। फितरत ने सिखाई है हमको उफ्ताद यहाँ फितरत ने सिखाई है हमको उफ्ताद यहाँ परवाज़ यहाँ। गाए हैं वफा के गीत यहाँ, छेड़ा है जुनू का साज यहाँ। गाए हैं वफा के गीत यहाँ, हर शाम है शाम मिस्र यहाँ, हर शब है शबे शिराज यहाँ, है सारे जहाँ का सोज यहाँ, और सारे जहाँ का साज यहाँ। ज़र्रात का बोसा लेने को 100 बार झुका आकाश यहाँ, ज़र्रात का बोसा लेने को 100 बार झुका आकाश यहाँ। खुद आँख से हमने देखी है बातिल की शिकस्त फाश यहाँ, खुद आँख से हमने देखी है बातिल की शिकस्त फाश यहाँ। मेरा चमन है मेरा चमन, मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल हूँ। मेरा चमन, ये मेरा चमन, ये मेरा चमन है मेरा चमन, मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल हूँ। जो अब यहाँ से लुटेगा वो सारे जहाँ पर बरसेगा, हर चूहे रवा पर बरसेगा, हर कोड़े गिरा पर बरसेगा, हर सर्व समन पर बरसेगा, हर दश्त दमन पर बरसेगा, खुद अपने चमन पर बरसेगा, गैरों के चमन पर बरसेगा, हर शहर तरफ पर गरजेगा, हर कसर तरफ पर कड़केगा। ये अब्र हमेशा बरसा है, ये अब्र हमेशा बरसेगा, ये अब्र हमेशा बरसा है, ये अब्र हमेशा बरसेगा, ये अब्र हमेशा बरसा है, ये अब्र हमेशा बरसेगा, बरसेगा बरसेगा बरसेगा। जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे, भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलद तरंग, तब शुभ नामे जागे, तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तब जय गाथा, जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे, भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे।
We'll take a short break for about 15 minutes and then we'll have the open house session right here. So I request all the delegates to join us back in next 15 minutes. By 12:40, we'll be starting the open house session. Please join us for the cup of tea. For students, it is on my left-hand side. And for the delegates, it is on my right-hand side, outside. Please join us for the cup of tea. जी, जी। ठीक है।